The second match, first set, will be played on Newkirk. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the blue Zerg playing for KT Rolster. His name is Crazy.
His opponent needs to pick up the pace and heart of the swarm for the next season to help out CJ Entus. His name is herO, spawning as yellow Protoss in the opposite direction, the bottom left position on the map.
Yeah, looks like we're going to be seeing just a standard forge expand based on that pylon positioning. A lot of Protoss players nowadays will go for the in-base gateway expand build, or even try to put the forge in the main base, just, you know, being greedy as possible. And a lot of Protoss players, they can pretty much defend against the early link timings almost flawlessly. So, you know, why not? Now, hold on a second. We actually have a 10 pool coming from Crazy here. Now, luckily for our CJ player, herO, he is going to spot this, which means the attack is going to be a lot weaker than it normally could potentially be.
Yeah, this was pretty much geared towards herO going for the greediest play possible inside the main base, but he sees the gas blow up, he sees the spawning pool, he sees the gas trick happening, so he knows that his opponent is gearing towards the early game aggression against himself.
Yeah. So, of course, Forge goes down first before the Nexus. Very, very smart. That's what you definitely need to do in this scenario here. And now the question is, okay, he's got 2 larvae saved up. He'll have a 3rd one ready as soon as this pool finishes. The question is he going to go for a queen and add on some extra drones? No, he's going to only get a pair of lings and 2 drones here. And this is why we're seeing herO keep his probe in the main base there. He wants to know what his opponent's up to here.
I also like that Crazy is not committing too many Zerglings to this attack because he knows that his opponent scouted it and the cannons are going to be up just in time to defend against the tempo. So only getting a pair of Zerglings while getting additional drones and going for the expansion, nice move by Crazy.
Yeah, it looks like these guys played in 2012, a long time ago, and I believe that it was herO that grabbed the win. Not 100% sure though.
In fact, it was during the post-season.
Cool.
Of the Hybrid League. Now, we do have a probe just double-checking to see if the hatchery is thrown down. Yes, he does, and herO just trying to play as safe as possible. I forgot the exact date, but it's been Flash's birthday, and it's the first game since his birthday as his fan made a model after him, and it's being showcased on KT Rolster's bench today.
That shows incredible devotion to Flash fanboyism or fangirlism. Most likely a fangirl, I'd actually have to say. But that's pretty freaking cool. Alright, the Zergling's going to see the wall here, and going to back off there.
So his hatchery is going to finish much earlier than the Nexus, but remember, he did go for the temple and it's been scouted, so his plan has been foiled. But it's not like he prepared a complete cheese against his opponent. In fact, he is taking a 3rd hatchery right now, and he's going to play a standard game against his opponent, herO.
Yep, definitely. Also, they mentioned that CJ's herO is in the Challenger League. Flash, of course, he's in the Premier League, guys. It was only a matter of time, and he did get there. And we'll see how he does throughout the rest of the season. And this probe gonna scout the 3rd base. There we go. Just good job double-checking and confirming. I love how active herO's being with the scouting here. And, you know, he just wants to play extra safe. He doesn't want to cut any corners. And this is going to allow him to safely transition to whatever he wants to do in the mid-game.
And this is actually fantastic from the team's perspective, because usually when they go out into Pro League, they try to practice that one specific build against their opponent, but now they're just trying to play something more like a ladder game. They're relaxed right now. All they want to do is play a solid game against their opponent and trying to block whatever they have while playing the game to the fullest potential.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, ladder game, we see the Stargate opening, a very, very common build order from the Protoss player, basically standard, in fact. And behind this, we just have this continued probe looking for information here. We also didn't see an early gas from Crazy as well. He's only getting his gases just right now, around the 41-42 supply. Very standard on that end as well. Getting a queen behind this as well for that 3rd hatchery. And he is making those gases at the natural base.
Yeah, so this is just transitioning into the regular PBC that we all see in this particular matchup, as the Stalker moves outside of the main base, trying to deny the Zergling from scouting around the map. So it's really curious to see if herO is going to take a quick third behind this, but first he is going to get the Phoenixes out to deny the Overlord scouting.
Yep, excellent job though from Crazy, sends in the Overlord at the perfect timing. He knows exactly what's going on opening-wise now. He knows, hey, man, my opponent's not going to go for an Immortal all-in against me. I'm fine. I'm safe. I can do whatever I want right now, pretty much. And yeah, it's just going to most likely end up being a very passive game until we really hit, you know, towards the mid-game, maybe a little bit later after that.
As the first Phoenix and the Stalker takes out the Overlord, the Phoenix just scouts around inside the natural and inside the main base to make sure there's no extra Overlords that's going to scout inside the main base. Behind us, herO is getting a Robo. I have to say, a little bit more of a greedy follow-up than getting 3 gateways and then the Robo, but possibly they can pull it off if they can defend against the units. Let's get it and gets out just in time as the Queen does not have enough DPS to take out the Phoenix. Now we're in a situation where it's just a standard macro game between the two players, with herO getting up to 3 additional gateways. Doesn't want to be greedy by going for a really fast third base. But look at this, Crazy, 9 minutes into the game, he's getting Infestation Pit right away.
Really interesting here. Okay, so we may actually see some Infestation use here. He could go for very fast Swarm Hosts as well. But this is going to leave a pretty big hole in his defenses earlier on in the game. Especially, luckily, we didn't see a Robo opening with a timing attack from our Protoss player here. Otherwise, certainly, we would probably see Crazy die to that. Gonna scout around the base. He's gonna see the Robotics Bay. That's important for this Overseer to scout as well.
And do remember, Crazy is only going for this build because he double confirmed that there was a Stargate inside the main base, and now he's just checking once again to see if there's any gateway, 7 gateway, 1 Robo shenanigans after the Stargate.
So the build is revealed here. We do have the Locust Time upgrade being researched there, and we also have a lot of Queens in production as well here. And you know, just seeing that high Queen count is going to probably tip off herO that, all right, you know, my opponent's up to something weird here. Still doing a good job. He's actually picked off 10 workers with these Phoenix here. Pretty good investment overall from him.
And it's really crucial for herO to keep this Phoenixes alive because he saw the tech go up, but he didn't get a confirmation with his 2 own eyes that the Swarm Hosts are out on the way from his opponent Crazy.
Yeah, that's indeed. He hasn't seen those quite yet. Luckily, though, for herO, he's going for the Colossi tech. That's going to be good at dealing with the Swarm Hosts. Once you get, you know, a few of those Colossus up, he's going to have to build, you know, maybe 3 of them, up to 4 if the Swarm Host count really gets outrageous. But behind this, we do have the +1 melee and Carapace upgrades. We have the Spire on the way, so maybe the Swarm Hosts were meant to kind of pin down herO, and then we would see a Muta transition from this.
Yeah, well, I like the fact that Crazy is fortifying that bottom position so that he can take down the rocks and take a fort base over there, trying to expand towards his opponent so that he can keep constant pressure on his opponent's third base and in that little particular area.
Yeah, herO's Phoenix control has actually been phenomenal this game. He has picked off so many units. Look at the units lost tab, 300 to 1,287. It's pretty impressive. We also have 4 more Swarm Hosts on the way from the Zerg player. Looks like he wants to bolster his defenses a little bit more before doing a potential tech switch. He could also add in Corruptors to the mix if he wanted to. Certainly something we could see from him. And a Warp Prism on the way here from herO. So looks like we're going to be seeing him do a little bit of drops here.
And this is actually a fantastic play from herO. He knows that his opponent only has Swarm Hosts to defend, not that many Zerglings, not that much Corruptors in this army either. So if he just applies pressure at the front while dropping tons of Zealots and warping in units inside the main base, Crazy is not going to have any answer against this Warp Prism.
Yeah, the Warp Prism may also force these Swarm Hosts out of position. There's not actually a lot of units besides those in the Queens to defend, and both of those slow-moving units, they need to be in proper position. The Warp Prism over this hatchery here is going to potentially warp in some units. We have 7 Corruptors, though, on the way here, and that's going to help deal against the Warp Prism, at least temporarily, and it'll do really good against the Colossus as well. These units moving in, trying to save the hatchery, but I think it's going to end up falling afterwards, and we have a forced cancel here. Going to lift off 4 of those Zealots and then hightail it out of there.
Yeah, he needs to hightail it out of there, especially since the Corrupt is finished and Crazy is getting ready for a War Prism drop inside the main base. But behind this, herO is taking a fourth expansion behind this, knowing that his opponent is going for the Swarm Host and he can't be too aggressive, especially since herO does have a nice Colossus count.
Yeah, I actually really like that he's taking such a fast fourth base, and he's taking it in a very aggressive position, which is not common at all here.
Ooh,
so, the War Prism going to get picked off here, as long as the 4 Zealots. Ouch. A bit of a hindrance there. Also, Hive Tech on the way for Crazy. I have a feeling we're going to be moving into one of those like very long late game PvZs where you have the Spine and Spore Crawler wall, you have the Corruptors, you have these Swarm Hosts, and maybe even potentially Broodlords later on.
Well, here's one thing, because herO decides to go for the Colossus competition. Seems like he has some idea on what his opponent is going for, as we do see a Fleet Beacon on the production tab, while his opponent is going for the Greater Spire.
Alright, so this is actually going to work out really well for herO, because the Tempest, they're pretty good against the Swarm Host because of just how long their range is, and they of course, they hard counter Broodlords. So I really like what herO's deciding to do here. Crazy, though, he is completely safe and fine doing the build order he wants to do here, but actually going to get a forced cancel on this hatchery over here. He is going to be taking the middle bottom expansion on his side of the map, though, and the Corrupt has got to be very careful here. Actually, a lot of these units are going to end up getting picked off here, and that's definitely what herO does not want in this position.
Yeah, he needs those Colossus right now to defend against the Locust that his opponent has, and even these Corruptors, yes, some of them might die, but Crazy not going to commit to it at the last second, as he needs them to turn them into Broodlords later in the game.
Yeah. Nice transfusions there on some of the Corruptors, but he does lose a good amount of them actually to the Stalkers there, but still trades for 2 Colossi pretty evenly overall, and the Swarm Hosts are now just knocking on that 4th base's front door. Second double Robo in production now for herO.
He does have the Fleet Beacon just in case for the Muta Switch or the Broodlords from his opponent, but he doesn't have a confirmation. That's the reason why we only have a 1 Stargate. And hold on, we do have a Warpin at the 4th base.
The Warpin's going to do an incredible amount of damage here. Is actually going to probably end up sniping the hatchery here. That's really nice for herO. He needs to take out and prevent the economy from the Zerg player from getting too out of control. You know, one way we saw Zerg players die when they went for this composition is that the Protoss player just forced them to run out of resources by constantly attacking their economy and not allowing them to accumulate up a critical amount of resources.
Yeah, but also remember, herO, he's getting a lot of Colossus out, but he does have the tech available to him, but he's not making any Tempest right now, as Crazy is just getting more Broodlords out as the second goes by, as he's stacking up on those Broodlord count, and the Corruptors are eating away on the Phoenix.
And now if these Broodlords are not spotted, then they're going to do a ridiculous amount of damage here. Also, I don't think these... Okay, the Colossus, I'm not sure if they have the extended thermal lance range or not there. I did see him go for the Warp Prism speed upgrade, and he's also getting the Observer one as well. A Dark Shrine behind this. Another expansion going to get picked off as well here, but Crazy, he's going to move in for the attack. The Broodlords are revealed. Are we going to have any Tempest in production? Can herO even defend against this push?
The problem is, if he does have up to 3 gateways, 3 Stargates, then he might lose the Nexus, but he can eventually defend against the attack. The problem is he only has 1 Stargate, which means he can only make 1 Tempest at a time.
At least herO trading base for base here, keeping the Zerg pretty low on bases as well as himself there. Yeah, we're going to need, I think, 3 Stargates is really going to be the key here. He only has 1, a second in production, which is good. But, you know, herO, he's still doing the right thing. He's attacking all over the map. He's not allowing his opponent to press into his main base, which is exactly what would spell his doom here.
Yeah, and look at the Sun Queen slightly out of position, but the Broodlords are still quite strong in this composition, as herO does not have enough Tempest to actually engage this army. But the Zealots inside the main base doing a nice job. Nice harassment by herO.
Certainly. All right, 2 Tempests now in production. That second Stargate is finished here. And, you know, as long as herO buys enough time, then he'll only need the 2 Stargates. But, you know, if Crazy just really pushes and commits for an attack here within the next minute or 2, he's not going to have enough Tempest. And look at the Broodlord count. It's getting pretty ridiculous now.
Yeah, well, Crazy also needs to make sure he doesn't turn any extra Corruptors into Broodlords, knowing that he showed the Broodlord to his opponent. His opponent started out with a Stargate, so he should be he should know that herO is getting those Tempests out. So it's better for him to make the Corruptors, but not turn them into Brewlords. He already has a good amount, and he needs the Corruptors to face the Tempests later on in the game.
Here comes the Zerg army trying to pick off a few buildings here. The Stalkers in good position. Remember, there's no Fungals that hinder the movement of these Stalkers, but there's a lot of Queens, and there's, of course, the Locusts as well. The Tempests have been revealed as well, and they're going to be able to snipe a lot of these units from afar here. But the thing is, herO, he needs a little bit more time, but he's forced. He has no choice. He needs to engage in this location. And the Corruptors, they're just going to try to focus fire down the Tempest one at a time. But the Stalkers also picking off most of the Broodlords as well. And this big Protoss ball, the Tempest just, they can't withstand the firepower of the Corruptors, and they are going to end up falling.
Yeah, and with the third Nexus down, the Protoss player is only down to 2 mining bases, as he cannot actually engage into his opponent's army. There's a nice mine and a Spore Crawler wall. He can barely defend against the Locust, but the Zerglings finish off the Nexus.
Yep, with that Nexus down, 2 base herO, and the main base pretty much mined out at this point. Definitely a pretty bad position to be in. He didn't see the Broodlords fast enough. If he had the Tempest out a little bit earlier, a proper unit composition, then I think, things would have been a little bit different here. But, he took the forward expansion instead of the back one, and that potentially hurt him. The Zerglings are also going to scout that additional base as well here.
And also, it also stems from the fact that herO lost the 3 Phoenixes too easily in the middle of the map. That's when the Broodlords were coming out. But if he used that to scout his opponent's main base, just to double confirm that where the Spire is and see if his opponent is going for the Greater Spire, he would have had those Tempests out in time, and we wouldn't have a situation where herO is starving to his death right now. I mean, look at this. His main base is mined out. He's only mining from the natural. The third Nexus just went up.
Yep, the Broodlord timing is still dangerous as ever. Hold that thought. We have the Stalkers moving above the Broodlords. There's nothing to defend against the Stalkers. They're going to get a lot of amazing hits off here as well, and they're going to go to town on the Corruptors as well. 2 Colossi fall, and these Stalkers are also falling to the Locusts here, but overall, a pretty cost-efficient trade for herO. That's the kind of moves he needs to do to get back in this game here, but still, long-distance mining, it looks like, from that third base. Maybe just sending over some workers there as he's completed it. But these Locusts are just worth their weight in gold now. Nice job, though, from herO. He's going to do another Zealot run by here. Remember, killing off the economy of the Zerg player is how you win in these late-game scenarios when they go for this unit composition.
Yeah, but the problem is Zerg player is already up to 4 bases. This is a 5th base that has been taken out, but he can just rebuild it right away, as the Protoss player is starving. He's trying to get the minerals, he's trying to get the gas out, but once these Blink Stalkers are out, there's no way that herO can replenish the main army. Look at the supply right now, 173 to 134 of herO.
Alright, it looks like Crazy wants to do a bit of a counter-attack on the third base here. Trying to consolidate a few more Zerglings before moving in. And here come the Zerglings. There's nothing to defend against them here, and they're also going to kill off that pylon, preventing any reinforcements. But the main bulk of this Protoss army is going to head over there. We may see that as Crazy's cue to move across the map here. He is positioning his units, moving towards where the old third base was with some of these swarm hosts here. He may actually be able to force a deny there. No. The additional reinforcements here will prevent that from happening, as well as the timed life on those Locusts.
And herO's trying to play this a little bit more of a Zhongbi style, the Zhongbi versus Soki match that we saw previously. The problem is Zhongbi had enough economy to go for the Zalt Warpins and kill his opponent's hatcheries. herO is doing the same thing, except he's been losing Nexus left and right, which is the biggest problem for herO, which, he goes for the Zalt Warpin, kills a hatchery, but once those Zalts are taken out, he cannot replenish his main army. Also, given the high Corruptor count, herO wants to make more Blink Stalkers because he knows that making those Tempests, they're going to melt to the Corruptors right away. The problem is the Broodlord count is high, the Corruptor count is high, and all Crazy has to do is fortify this position and deny the 4th base from his opponent herO.
Just look at the creep spread as well. It's pretty much all over the place now. And, wherever the Zerg wants to attack, he can have creep there. The Broodlord's actually now moving towards the main base. They're going to be able to pick off some of these gateways here and stifle the production of herO. And I think we're going to actually see a bit of a base race here. herO knows that he can't actually fight this army head-on. His only chance is to try to take out the economy of his opponent and destroy the buildings. But even then, I don't think he has what it takes unit-wise to make that actually happen.
Yeah, well, he needs to take out these Spine Crawlers and the Swarm was right away, but the Corruptors arrive just in time. The first Colossus is going to get taken out. The second one just being towned away as the third one also gets picked off.
Have almost nothing. Even if the Corruptors die, it doesn't matter at this point. The Stalker count is dwindling. They're getting fungled. The Infestors and Stormhosts going to town on those units. And yeah, this is pretty much it. This is a handful of units left for herO. He doesn't have much beyond that. And the Broodlords at the same time are going to continue slowly dishing out damage here in this position. Just things are looking really, really tough for the Protoss player herO.
Yeah, and this also stems from the fact that he did not see the Broodlords in time. He lost the 4th base and the 3rd base at the same time. So a little bit unfortunate for herO, but this is what happens if you do not see the Broodlord composition in time as a Protoss player.
Yep, this Broodlord timing is as good as ever. The only difference is we have the Tempest now to deal with those. And oh, excellent fungal goes off on a lot of those Stalkers there. A few more going to blink forward. Try to deal with some of the Broodlords here. There's actually not too many units here, but I think, oh, with that fungal and the Broodlings on the ground, that's going to be just enough to deal with it. herO is going to be forced to tap out. That's going to be it for him. There's just no way he can really come back in this game. Now down 59 supply, the 184. GG is called. And we have Crazy taking game number 1 over herO.
I was a little bit disappointed that the Warp Prism did not do much damage and got sniped right away. He should have also made few more Warp Prisms and just warping Zealots inside the main base when the main battle was happening to take out the important tech buildings that Crazy had.
Yeah, I mean, herO did a little bit of damage with the Warp Prism. He was able to kind of deny a few bases here and there. But overall, no critical amount of damage was done, and his unit composition wasn't key for when Crazy wanted to move. And in addition, I feel like he took the 4th base a little bit too aggressively. He should have taken the back one, tried to, you know, fight against the Stormhost, not make it easier for them to pick off that expansion. So now the score is 1-0 with KT Rolster leading against CJ Entis. The next matchup, it's going to be a PVT on Whirlwind between Stats and Byung. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll have that second matchup after this commercial break.